live, Kurmash.
Huh?
We're live.
Okay. And what about, I think we should plug in the power. Hare Krishna. So now, Hindi and Bengali?
No, we usually just do English and YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
And Kasturi Manjari knows that, is it?
I mean, that's what we've always done.
Huh?
We've never done anything else.
All right.
Yeah. I'm not sure she knows.
Okay. So here we go, devotees. Questions and answers for tonight. First of all, some prayers. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, devotees. So here we go. It's questions and answers time. And we've got about 12 questions here. Let's see how it goes. First question. What is the difference between Guru's mercy and Krishna's mercy? There's no difference. There's no real difference. There's possibly one difference, that Guru's mercy may be more important than Krishna's mercy, because whatever the Guru wants for the disciple, for the devotee, Krishna will feel that he has to fulfill that, even more than he has to fulfill something from himself, some mercy that he may give. But otherwise, it's the same. It's the same. Second question, how important is it to follow the path of bhakti? If I try to remain a good human being, will that be enough to please the Lord? No, it will not be enough to please the Lord. The Lord is pleased by bhakti. The Lord is pleased by selfless spiritual service. The Lord is not pleased if we just do something materially good, which doesn't help the person spiritually. The thing is that anything done in bhakti is eternal. But anything we do on the material level, like being a good human being, is temporary. Yes. So there is eternal benefit if we give someone bhakti. That means if the person is given bhakti, then they can be delivered from the material world and go back to the eternal spiritual world. But if a person just does good material things, good worldly things, then when they die, they'll just take a material birth again, another temporary birth. So it doesn't help. It really doesn't help at all. Not at all. Question 3. The feeling of love, devotion, surrender, fullness I'm having for Sri Sri Radha Krishna. I'm missing this feeling for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. How to develop that love? Yes, well, you know what you need to do? You need to study Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and really become aware of who they are, how merciful they are. Actually, they're more merciful than Krishna. They're much more merciful. But the thing is, if you don't really know so much about them, how can you develop feeling for them? So therefore, please read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Read some every day. And then gradually your appreciation for Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda will develop when you see how merciful they are. So, yes, like this, then your feeling for them will develop. Here's 4th question. Would life coaches and similar such quote-unquote gurus fall under the anatha represented by putana of a guru preaching sense gratification? Yes, well, if they're not teaching people how to become Krishna conscious, but just how to improve yourself materially, how to become a nicer person materially, then there's something like Putana, the pseudo-guru, who seems to be preaching some wisdom, but it doesn't help you in reality. In reality means in your relationship with Krishna. It doesn't help you with that. It just helps you with some temporary situation in this material world. So it's misleading from the real truth. So therefore, at least many of these so-called life coaches would, to one degree or another, fall under the anatha represented by Putana, that the pseudo-guru, not a real guru. So now, here our devotee has quoted from Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 verse 13. The verse itself and the purport, or at least part of it, maybe the whole, I'm not sure how big is that purport. So they say, the verses 8:13, Bhagavad Gita, after being situated in this yoga practice and vibrating the sacred syllable Om, the supreme combination of letters, if one thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So here's the purport, or I'm not sure if it's the whole purport, but this is now Srila Prabhupada commenting. It is clearly recommended for this age that if one quits his body chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, he certainly reaches one of the spiritual planets according to the mode of his practice. The devotees of Krishna enter the Krishna planet, Goloka Vrindavan. For the personalists, there are also innumerable other planets known as Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky, whereas the impersonalists remain in the Brahmajyoti. Anyway, that's there. But the question is something different. My query is there anything called Narak or hell? Is there any reference to it? Oh yes, there definitely is. And if you want to know about it in detail, get a copy of the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and read the last chapter of the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the description of the hellish planets, Narak planets. So, oh yes, it's very dramatic, really dramatic. So yes, hell is a reality. Of course, in one sense, there are 2 types of hell. One type of hell is like what we were just saying, a hellish planet where the conditions, the living conditions, are just extremely bad, much worse than here. The other type of hell is just to be either born on this planet or end up being in a certain situation on this planet which is very horrible, hellish type of situation of being abused or killed or like that. So, or even to be born as an animal is considered a hellish birth, or to be a human but be subjected to all sorts of fantastic sufferings. That's also hellish. So there are 2 types of hell then. Is it necessary to bathe and be clean before chanting on the beads? Not absolutely. Means if you have some spare time in the afternoon and you want to chant, as long as you're not really dirty, then you can just pick up your beads and chant. Generally, of course, we get up early in the morning and we take a bath and put on clean clothes, and then we chant. But that's in the morning, early morning, right at the beginning of the day. But otherwise, like just now, we were chanting from 5 till 6. And we didn't all take a bath. Did you take a bath? No, I didn't either. I just came from our program in Phoenix. And then I had another meeting, but then I just came and started chanting. But in the morning you must do that. When you get up, you must take a bath, put on clean clothes, and then chant. But during the day, unless you're really dirty, if you're really dirty, you need to take a bath anyway. Yeah, so unless you're really dirty, you can just chant. So here's question number 7. Attachments to people and material world hinder the will to chant and the path of bhajan. How to overcome it? Well, that's true. Attachments not just to people, but attachments to materialistic people, and of course attachments to the material world, definitely hinder our will to chant and our path of bhajan. Definitely, of course. If you are attached to materialistic people and just material activities and things in the material world, then you'll lose the will to chant. First of all, of course, it'll just reduce, but eventually it'll become nothing and you won't want to chant at all or do any bhajan, any devotional service. So how do you overcome this? Yes, well, two things. One is you have to stop associating with material people, materialistic. And you have to stop sort of meditating on the material world and being involved in situations in the material world. You have to associate with devotees and be in a devotional environment. And if you're doing like that and you try to chant nicely, then you'll find that the will to chant develops. And it'll be blissful, it'll be wonderful. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 3:14-24 in the purport, it's mentioned that Lord Shiva, being very kind to the ghosts, wants them to get physical bodies. So he places them into the wombs of women who indulge in sexual intercourse regardless of the restrictions of time and circumstances. My question is, how is this going to help the ghosts to be born from women who indulge freely in illicit sex? Well, that's a good question. Let me just have a look. Not that I don't believe you, but I feel I should check. What does this 3:14-24 actually say? We should really get it directly from the source. Not that I don't believe you or don't trust you, but I think it's important that we really get tuned in properly. So 3:14-24. Let's have a look. So ghostly characters worship Lord Shiva to be gradually guided towards the path of self-realization, to be gradually elevated. So, okay, see now, your question is not the right question. It's really not. You say, okay, no, your question's all right. Lord Shiva, being kind to ghosts, wants them to get physical bodies, so he places them into the wombs of women who engage in illicit sex, basically. Yeah. So the thing is that these people, the ghosts and people like that, they're condemned. They're condemned people. But Lord Shiva, at least he lets them get put in the wombs of humans. They're condemned. They're extremely impious. So much bad karma. They've done so many bad things. Actually, they should not be put into the womb of any human being. They should go down, become an animal, or something like that. But at least he lets them get put into the wombs of human women. But because they're so sinful and contaminated and crazy even, that they don't get put in the wombs of very pious women in very pious families, devotee families like that. but at least they get put in the body of a human female. How to understand if Krishna and Guru are being pleased with us or not? Well, a simple answer to that would be to ask the Guru, are you pleased with my service? That would be a very simple thing. Otherwise, what are you going to do? Otherwise, it'll be very hard to know. But the thing is that if you're doing your service properly in authorized ways, then you can be sure it's pleasing. Because the Lord tells us, if you serve me in this way, if you serve me in that way, I'll be pleased. So if then you serve the Lord in those ways that he's spoken about, then you know he'll be pleased. Of course. Yeah. So that's a very important thing, to make sure you do things properly. Because if you do things properly in Krishna consciousness, you'll get very good results. Why is the Brahma Muhurta considered the best time to practice spiritual activities? If I'm unable to wake up that early, am I losing out on spiritual benefits? Well, why is it, first of all, the best time? Considered the best time for spiritual activities? Because it's a very simple thing. Because the atmosphere is the most pure. It's quiet. It's peaceful. The atmosphere is very clear, relaxed. So under those circumstances, it's easier to chant, particularly to chant, which is our main activity. But it's easier also to read our spiritual literature. This is why in every temple around the world, in the morning, at that time, the Brahma Muhurta time, the early morning time, everyone gets up and there's a whole program, spiritual activity, chanting, then there's a lecture, and all these types of things, kirtan, arti, because there's such a good atmosphere, such a pure and clear atmosphere, which makes it easier to chant and easier to engage in spiritual activity. So if you're unable to wake up that early, depends what you mean by unable. If you work late, then, and you've got to have enough sleep, of course. So if you work really late, then you won't be able to get the benefit of getting up early, having a nice spiritual program. If you go to bed late, then at that time of the Brahma Muhurta, you'll still be very tired. And you'll be trying to chant, but you'll fall asleep. Your mind will wander like that. So if you're unable to get up that early, I suggest you work out some way to get up so early. Go to bed earlier. And then you can get the same amount of sleep that you need, but then you can get up earlier. Go to bed earlier, get up earlier, and it'll be so much easier to get up during the Brahma Muhurta time. Brahma Muhurta means 48 minutes before sunrise until 48 minutes after sunrise. That's Brahma Muhurta. So, yeah. Anyway, that's our advice. That would definitely be our advice. But if it's just somehow just impossible to get up at that time, there's some genuine reason why you just cannot get up, then just get up when you can get up and just do your best. Just chant as nicely as you're able. Yeah. How to develop a taste for reading Srila Prabhupada's books. Well, you know, there's a verse. It's First Canto, chapter 2, verse 16. Let me just check the verse number. Canto 1, chapter 2. Yes, verse 16. Shushrusho Shrudanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahatsevya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevanat. O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. So that's a piece of advice for you. If you serve the devotees, particularly the advanced devotees, but any devotees ultimately, if you serve the devotees, Krishna within your heart will be pleased. And as that verse said, he will give you a taste. You'll develop an attraction for studying the literature. Okay, so now here's the last question. Question 12. Did Narada Muni receive transcendental knowledge twice? Well, you know, he received transcendental knowledge, Narada Muni, from his father, Lord Brahma, who received it from Lord Krishna personally. So that's the main thing. And then he became the great devotee, great preacher, Narada Muni. At other times, he may have met other devotees who he learnt from. Yeah? Like the four Kumars. So, but it's different from when he first received transcendental knowledge from Lord Brahma. Yeah, it's different. You know, if he just associates with some devotee, gets some more transcendental knowledge, then it's sort of just like a booster, just a little, what would you say, a little kind of boost. But he really received transcendental knowledge from not having any, or at least not having very much. He received it. Narada Muni received it from Vyasadeva. Yeah. So first of all, he received it from his father, Lord Brahma. Then he received it actually from different people. But from different people, yeah, from different people. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, devotees, we're getting back into this, so we'll have another session. Well, Kasturi Manjari will tell you when the next section will be, the next session of questions and answers will be. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Is this okay, Kasturi Manjari? That's enough? Okay, those who would like some Mahaprasad, please come. Anyone else, or shall I eat it all myself?
Sorry, Mother. Thank you. Thank you.
Guru Maharaj, Nicole Harilal from Ladysmith. She sends her obeisances to you, and she's coming next week, but I believe you will be gone.
I'm leaving on Sunday, a week today, the day after Radhastami.
She's coming after Radhastami. But she sends her obeisances to you.
Okay.
It's her birthday on the 4th of October.
All right. She's going to stay here, or what?
A few days.
How old is she?
She'll be 30.
30, okay.
When do you come back, Guru Maharaj?
29th of December. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.